Yeah, so we're taking Powerslide TV a little bit next level this year. We're here at the ArenaGeisingen International, and we've got the senior men's 15,000 meter elimination. We're just under 50 laps to go. Owen Fernandez and Livio Wenger from Powerslide are just controlling the front, but it's a really big mess out there. I can see probably a train of about seven or so strong Powerslide guys, a similar sized train from ArenaGeisingen, and then Bonta in there with about 4 guys. So at some point there's going to need to be a lot of moving. I'm here. My name's Scott Arlidge, and I'm here with Kalon Dobbin. And you might have heard us before in the Worlds, but now we're taking it next level for the ArenaGeisingen International. Favourites for today. It's often hard to look past Bart Swings, but he did get beaten in this distance by Fabio Francolini at the Worlds, so Fabio's always fast at the end of elimination. Kalon, who do you think after that?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Lexi Contan from Bont. He's got a little bit of a smaller team, so it's going to be hard for him, but if he makes it to that final 5, then you'll see him amongst there mixing it up with Bart and Fabio.
Then outside of that, I mean, you've got kind of the race inside the race, because this isn't just a single event. You've also got the overall classment for the weekend, so you've got little guys playing little games with that as well. So that's why sometimes at these events you see little strange results. Seems like ArenaGeisingen has brought in Alexander Bastidas from Venezuela for the weekend, giving them a little more horsepower, and he's just started a second train on the outside. Like I said, with the size of the teams we've got and the horsepower and how fast things change on this track, it's safer to be in a second line than second team. We've got skaters, as I said, all the European guys are here. Probably Alexi, Bart, Jan, Fabio, and Owen. They're probably the best long distance guys in Europe at the moment. So it's maybe an unofficial European Championships for long distance this weekend. While we got a little lull in the excitement, Kalon, anything happening on the sprinting side that we saw this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we saw definitely this weekend that Europe's shown that they have a very, very high level in sprinting now. They've upped their game from a few years ago, and you saw some very, very fast times in the Dobbin sprint, and also in the 500s we saw some excellent racing right from the round 1. We've got a great final coming up after this final. But yeah, the main thing this year that was seen is that Europe is going to be probably a world power in sprinting as well as long distance.
Yeah, I mean, even in the younger category, sure, the track here in Geisingen is the fastest in the world, but I mean, Linda Rossi last night, she put down a time in the Dobbin sprint that was equal, if not better, than some of the senior women. So even in the younger categories, maybe in the last few years it could be argued Europe was a little bit weaker, but they're definitely rebuilding at the moment. So we've also got a couple of skaters who made the trip out from Argentina. Kalon spent a bit of time in Argentina. What's the news about these guys?
Yeah, I mean, their top long distance guys aren't here. This is mainly their sprint team here. So we saw that over the last yesterday over the last couple of sprint distances that they're very competitive, but they'll still get in there and mix it up in the long distance. Seems to be in South America that they don't specialize just in sprints or distance. They chance their hand at both distances, long and short.
And we had Melissa Bonnet. She was here in the ladies category, and she's had many medals at World Championships in the sprints and not in the sprints, sorry, in the long distance events. Things are starting to get hectic. ArenaGeisingen just made a challenge for the lead. The Powerslide boys are bringing it back around. This is where the teams are going to shrink down a little bit. It's a very different style of racing, these races in Europe, because of the fact that the teams are so much bigger than just the 2 per country like you see at Worlds. So the team goes far deeper into the pack, so it's a completely different dynamic. So Ewan Fernandez is doing a similar job to what he did other years in this race, just setting the pace for his teammate Bart. He was the world champion in the points race on the road last year. But now we're starting to get down into that single file. We're at about just over 5K to go. So it's starting to get down that single file. Guys are starting to get tired.
No elimination.
Livio Wenger, he looks a little bit tired after the work he's done. I mean, it's his first race up with the big boys in senior, so it's no surprise. It's maybe not a whole lot faster, but it's just a whole lot of a different dynamic than the junior racing. They move a lot differently in the group, and I mean, he put down a super fast lap time last night in the Dobbin sprint, top 5 in the senior men, but he was out in the first round of the 500 this morning. Just a little bit of lack of experience, but he'll gain that back over the coming years. We've also got an Asian skater from Taiwan out, sponsored by us in Taiwan, Simon Lau. He's maybe a little bit of an unknown for most people, but he's super strong, and he's on the front now. He's one of those guys that needs clear track. He's maybe not the best mover in the group, but in things like points races or a hard elimination race, then he comes good. But he's here to gain some experience, because in Europe there's not a lot of better places to learn how to move in the group.
Please leave the track. 242, please leave the track.
It'll be interesting to see the time of this race. I mean, of course it can't be counted, but it would be around or maybe under world record. Mainly just due to the fact that the track's so fast here. It's easy to maintain such a high speed with obviously being indoor, but with a wide corner. And the other thing which makes this track special is there's almost no bumps in it. So it's super smooth, and could be argued maybe it's not the most technical track in the world because it's so smooth without a lot of bumps, but there is a right and a wrong way to skate it. And now we're starting to get into the race between inside the team, between the teams.
248, eliminated.
Ewan Fernandez still sitting on the front. Michael Cheek from USA, maybe more famous for our USA viewers, but one of the best indoor skaters of all time. So he's out here gaining some experience racing against some of the big boys on the tracks and roads of Europe.
192, please.
Seems like Ewan Fernandez is calling it a day. I mean, that's good work for him. I mean, he is recovering from a hernia operation he only had several weeks ago. So for him to already be back racing is really impressive. And now Alexis Contan takes up the front. I don't know if he was world champion in this distance way back in 2008. So it's good to see him back racing on the inlines, because maybe he's a little more famous for ice skating now. But I mean, we saw last year already in the World Championships he was gaining medals, things like that. So he's definitely back on inlines. Kalon, how do you see it now?
Yeah, no, Alexi had a tough season on the ice, but to come back at such a high level, he won a race last week at 3 tracks. So we know that he's always in a high level coming off the ice, as is Bart. It's starting to become a pretty interesting race right now, but all the teams have thinned down. So Alexi definitely has a really good shot at this race, and we all know that he's a fabulous racer and knows how to win a race, even when he doesn't have all the teammates. But looks like EO Skates has taken up the lead now. Powerslide is content to sit behind Alexi, so we're going to be in for a pretty spectacular last 5 laps.
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe say that the top 5 now could be your final 5, but you never know what happens in elimination. It can change so fast.
2-2-1 eliminated. 2-2-1.
So that's Simon's race done for the day. Now we're inside. We're getting inside the last 10 laps now. So Ferris Brood from Belgium on the back. Maybe he'll try and pick off 1 or 2 more. Did he get him?
2-0-0 eliminated.
Yeah, Ferrer picked up 1 more off the back. So we're down inside that top 10 now. It's Jan still leading in front of for his teammate Fabio Francolini, Alexi Contan, and Bart Swings. Ferrer, I don't know, he's looking a little tired. I don't know if he's got 1 more in him.
Yeah, Ferry's always got 1 more in him.
2-3-9 eliminated.
No, that was Ferris Brute. Now we're down into that final 5. Final 6. So we're on to the last elimination now. 5 laps to go. It seems strange here. They've done the eliminations a little bit different to before. So this is Felix racing against Alexander Bastidas to make the final 5. Just dropped back a little bit, gave Bart Swings a little bit more breathing room. So there's your final 5 now. Jan's really got it drilled on at the front. So he's still, I mean, maybe he's been out of it a little bit in the track racing lately, but he's definitely got it drilled on at the front now. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. And there goes the Bart versus Fabio showdown we've seen in previous years. So here goes Bart. Bart up the inside. Fabio, Alexi, and then Felix. Bart Swings leading in the last corner. Bart Swings wins another elimination. Fabio Francolini 2nd. Alexi Contin 3rd. Felix Ryan in 4th. Great race. 14-2 final lap from Bart Swings there. Really, really impressive. I mean, a lot of guys, that's their flying lap just in general. I mean, we'll get a couple of words out of some of the guys. I got Ferris Brood here, one of our enforcers in the pack, but he's there making sure guys like Bart Swings basically have an armchair ride. Ferrer, how was that?
It was okay. We had Ewan and Livio really turning it up for, I think, about 65 laps. So a lot of this victory goes out to them, I think, because without them it wouldn't have been possible. Well, not.
All right, so that was us at the ArenaGeisingen International.